What's going up there, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. In this video, we're going to be doing a movie review of a film that came out at the beginning of March and is a sequel to a 2021 film based on the 1965 novels. So we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on this video and the other videos I put up. As those people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms such as X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Patreon. Pretty much I post on those regularly, so definitely check them out. As always, people, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a new film that came out at the beginning of March and is a sequel to a 2021 film that is based off of a 1965 novel called Dune Part 2. Yeah! Dune Part 2. Yeah. So the highly anticipated sequel to the first Dune finally came out beginning of March last month and is a solid sequel that I was really impressed with. I finally just watched it. Unfortunately it took me this long to see it. I just been super busy, but let me tell you, it was worth the wait because this movie was absolutely fantastic. From head to toe, this film was visually done beautiful, the writing was done well, the acting, the directing, the cinematography, the music was all done so superbly, and it was just a solid, amazing film. Now, once again, we have the director from the first Dune film returning to direct this film, Mr. Denis Villeneuve. Oh yeah, Denis Villeneuve, woo! Denis Villeneuve, yeah! So Denis, who is a fantastic director, he directed Prisoners, he directed Arrival. I mean, he's directed a lot of great films, and he is just a really superb filmmaker. And he has such a great style that he brings to his films. He gives it very structured, very highly anticipated type of films. And he really, does the visuals very well. He has a great concept of how he wants to construct it. And he just really does an amazing job as a director. And he did that with Dune Part 2. And with what he did with Dune Part 2 is he gave us exactly what he gave us in Part 1, but expanded it. Gave us a little bit longer film, gave us more action, gave us more story. And I think that the changes they did from the novel that he decided to go with really emphasized some great things in this film and made it even more entertaining. And I think that his directing and direction for like Timothée Chalamet's character Paul Atreides' growth, or Zendaya's growth, or Javier Bardem's growth, or Josh Brolin, or Stellan Skarsgård, and all the characters that are in this film, he all gave them such great arcs and great storytelling, and really embodied what Frank Herbert was trying to say in his book. And I think that Denis did a great job of bringing that to life and bringing us that in this film. And just overall, I think that his aesthetics for the action sequences were so amazingly done. And the look, oh my god, whoever designed a lot of these things for the film was an amazing art director, because he created them to look so freaking awesome. The tanks in this film were just so cool, and I love that Denis took it in that direction and gave us those really awesome looking machines that just kicked butt. Really well done directing. He did an amazing job, and I think overall he just did a really fantastic job giving us a really solid sequel. Now, if you haven't seen anything else Denis has directed, definitely check out this great film that he did a couple years ago that is also a sequel film that stars Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford called Blade Runner 2049. Yeah, Blade Runner 2049. Yeah. He did such an amazing job with this film. He gave us a solid sequel to the original Blade Runner, and he directed the crap out of the film, gave us a really superb, beautiful new take on that wonderful universe. And Denis just did a great job of giving us great action, great acting, great screenplay, great story premise, and overall just gave us a really great sequel that really, even though it took, almost 30 years, or took over 30 years to get, it was worth the wait. And I think Denis did us all a great job giving us a really solid sequel that really emphasizes how great of a director he is and how good of an eye he has for all kinds of different types of genres. And he gives us just a really solid film that is really well constructed and really well done. If you haven't seen anything else he's directed, Dennis, definitely check out Blade Runner 2049 for his directing. He did a phenomenal job with it. But overall, like I said, I think he did a phenomenal job with Dune Part 2 and gave us an amazing film that was just super awesome and entertaining, and just from beginning to end was so enjoyable. Highly recommend watch anything Dennis has directed. He is amazing. If you haven't seen Dune Part 2 yet for Dennis's directing, definitely go see it in theaters now or stream it. It's worth the watch. So this movie has a really great cast, amazing cast of people, a lot returning, some new people being added to the film, and a lot of these people, these actors and actresses, all make amazing characters in this film that just made it super enjoyable. So to start us off is Mr. Paul Atreides himself, Mr. Timothy Chalamet. Oh yeah, Timothy Chalamet. Woo, Timothy Chalamet. So Timothy Chalamet, you might recognize, of course, from Little Women from 2019. You might recognize him from Dune Part 1. You might recognize him from a slew of things over the years. He is just a really great up-and-coming rising star that is really amazing actor. He doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. And I really enjoy pretty much anything he's ever been in. His characters are always really well constructed, really well played out. He always takes the time to really embody his characters too as well. And I feel that he just has that, there's something about his charisma, his aura. You cannot not like him. And I think that's what he exudes in every performance, and he does that with Dune Part 2. I love the growth of Paul Atreides in this film. I love what Timothy did with that, and how he really, changed from the character he was in the first film to the character he is in this film. Even through the growth through this film itself, you can see how much he grows and how much he changes, and how he goes from being kind of this, weakling kind of character to being this leader, to being this person that everyone thinks is this particular messiah, and basically taking control of that. And I love what Timothy did with that, and he did a really great job. And I think he worked really well with all the other characters throughout the film, and they all worked really well and gave great performances. Now, if you haven't seen Timothy in anything else, highly recommend check him out in this great film that just came out at the end of last year, and is a great retelling of a great Roald Dahl book called Wonka. Yeah, Wonka. Oh my god, this movie was super amazing. I was really impressed with it. I wasn't sure how good it was going to be, if it was going to be well directed, if it was going to have good storyline, if it was going to have great music to it and all this kind of stuff, how it was going to basically live up to the 1971 one with Gene Wilder. And let me tell you, this film really did that. The director of the Paddington films, he directed this, Paul King, and he did a phenomenal job. And Timothy was so amazing as a young version of Wonka. He did a great job. I loved his zaniness. I loved his warmth. I loved his compassion. I loved everything about his character and how amazing he embodied this newer version of Wonka, that, the Wonka that his first ambitions, how they were compared to what his ambitions were, as if, a 40, 50-year-old man played by Gene Wilder. So I really enjoyed how he differentiated himself from Gene Wilder, and I think Timothy did a great job of just exuding such a great character and give us a really solid, amazing, younger version of Wonka himself. If you haven't seen Wonka yet, definitely check it out for Timothy's performance. He was really fantastic in it. But overall, really enjoyed him in Dune Part 2, and I think he did an absolute phenomenal job. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out Timothy in Dune Part 2. He was great. That brings me to the next person I like to talk about that was in this film, and that is none other than kind of Paul Atreides' right-hand man, Mr. Josh Brolin. Oh yeah, Josh Brolin, woo, Josh Brolin, yeah. So Josh Brolin, we all recognize from a slew of films over the years. He was in Mimic. He was in the Mod Squad movie. He was in Shaft. He was in several films over the years, Deadpool 2, etc. And he just is a really phenomenal actor. And I always have really enjoyed Josh Brolin. I like the characters he portrays. I like what he brings to his characters. And I think he always plays really fun characters. And I think that he doesn't get enough credit as well for being a decent actor too. him being more of a bit actor, not really a leading man a lot of the times, he still is fantastic. And I think he proved that when he did No Country for Old Men. He can be a lead man. And I think that he has a lot of great potential for being this really solid actor. And I think he brought that to Dune Part 2. It was nice to see him finally again, after seeing him very briefly in Dune Part 1. We get to see a lot more of him this. He did a lot of great action sequences. We got to see him and Paul, really bond and come up with different plans, and we got to see kind of, him help mentor Paul into becoming the leader that he could be. And I really enjoyed the kind of the fatherly role that Josh brought to that character and gave us this really solid performance that was super enjoyable. And I just think a really great addition to this film. Now, if you haven't seen Josh in anything else, you should highly, highly recommend watch a great film he was in, one of his first films from 1985 called Goonies. Yeah, Goonies. Yeah. He was so great as Brant in Goonies, the older brother of Sean Astin's character, Mikey. And I absolutely loved him in this film. He was so fantastic. One of his first roles, he played that great older brother vibe, and I just thought that he was always very charismatic in this. And I think it's one of my favorites of his to date. I just really enjoyed what he brought to Brain and how it felt very authentic, and it felt like this real older brother and what a real older brother would do in situations that they're in. And I just think that Josh did a great job with that role and just made a really fantastic character. If you haven't seen Josh in anything, definitely check him out in Goonies. He was really fantastic in it. And overall, he was really amazing in Dune Part 2 and worth the watch to see in it. Definitely check out Josh in Dune Part 2. He was really great. So that brings me to the next actor I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that, of course, is one of the newer characters that was added to this film that we haven't seen before. And is played by the amazing Mr. Austin Butler. Oh yeah, Austin Butler. Woo! Austin Butler, yeah! So Austin Butler, which we all have seen over the years, Aliens in the Attic. He's been on several Disney TV shows and stuff like that, and is just a really fun actor that really has, rose to prominence over the last couple of years, and I think is a really decent actor. I really enjoyed pretty much anything he's been in recently and what he's brought to the table, and I love all the different, kind of genres he's trying out and giving us all these different types of characters that are really impressive. Now, in Dune Part 2, I really enjoyed him because he plays this really great kind of evil bad guy character who is the nephew of Baron, played by Stellan Skarsgård. And I think that he was really fantastic as that character. And I loved what he brought to it. I love how he was very menacing, how buff-looking he was. And I really enjoyed just him and his all his fight sequences and his interactions with different characters throughout the film, and I thought they all worked really well and were just really well conceived and really well played out by Austin. And I think that showed how great he is an actor, going from something like Aliens the Attic to this. You can really see how much he's grown and how much he's really become this really well thought out actor that knows what he's doing. And I think that this film really proves how awesome Austin is. Now, if you haven't seen Austin in anything, you should definitely check out a great biopic film he did just a couple years ago that portrays one of the greatest rock artists of all time, Mr. Elvis. Yeah. The film Elvis. Yeah. Thank you very much. Elvis. Yeah. So he plays Elvis in the Baz Luhrmann Elvis biopic that came out a couple years ago, and he was amazing as Elvis. He got the voice down perfectly. He portrayed him, I thought, super well, and you really felt he was really Elvis. And I just think that Austin did such a great job of portraying Elvis, and I absolutely loved it. I thought that he embodied Elvis and gave us a really great performance that really shows you who Elvis was. And I like what Austin did with the character. I love how he, grew through the film with it and how he changed and altered as he needed to be able to give us the best performance. And definitely he deserved that Oscar nod for that role because he was just so freaking fantastic. Really showed his acting chops and how great of a serious actor he can be. If you havenent seen Austin in anything, definitely check out an Elvis. He was really amazing in that film. He was perfect to the T in that film and really phenomenal. And overall, I thought he was a great addition to the Dune series and just really enjoyed his character in this film. And if you haven't seen the film, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but he had such a great character arc that was just really well done. And it was sad to see that story arc, come to kind of a conclusion. Really phenomenal job by Austin in this film, and I thought he did such a great job. If you haven't seen Austin anything recently, check him out in Dune Part 2. He was really great. So what is Dune Part 2 about? Basically, the premise of the film is we're continuing the saga of Paul Atreides, him basically dealing with the backlash of getting revenge for his father's death. We find out that he's considered this great messiah character, and basically how he kind of embraces it and needs to use that to help fight for these people so that they can save the world from these bad guys that are trying to take over the whole entire Earth, or the whole entire planet. And basically it's up to Paul to become this person he needs to be and help lead to victory. And that's pretty much what the premise of the film is. Really well done, amazing, fantastic. There were so many great scenes in this film. Oh my gosh, there were some great battle sequences. There was plenty of great scenes with great dialogue between different characters. The introduction and growth of Austin Butler's character was really awesome. We have some great scenes with Javier Bardem and Timothée Chalamet that were really done well. We have some great scenes with Baron, played by Stellan Skarsgård. I mean, so many great scenes throughout this whole entire film that just were super awesome and really well done and just super enjoyable. Highly recommend check it out. Giant 10 Golden movie boxes up. Can't wait for this to come out on 4K so I can add it to collection. It was just so amazing and just a wonderful sequel that really topped Dennis's first film. He really did a even more amazing job with this film as well. And the black and white elements with the color in them were such a great concept too as well. Very Dennis Villanova for me, that he brought that into this film, and I thought it was really done well. Highly recommend check this out. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on theaters now or stream it online. It's really amazing, great film. Can't wait to add this collection. It is phenomenal. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been before, don't forget to check out any other older new videos you've not seen on yet. As always, people, I want to show a huge shout out to all my new followers, all my old followers. Thank you so much for bringing me to that 1,000 mark. But if you want to show support for the channel, definitely check out my awesome Patreon page where you get all kinds of extra accoutrement from gear to outtakes to bloopers to all kinds of stuff like that. What you'd like to see me record next, all that kind of cool stuff. So definitely check it out. Help support the channel. As always, catch you next one.